The smoke, old Stogies I have found, short but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means, king of the road.
Alright guys, welcome back to another Stogie Lads cigar review. This time I am moving away from Cubans. I realized that pretty much every video has been a Cuban so far. So I'm moving towards a completely different stick. Drew Estate Norteño. Funnily enough, another Drew Estate. I don't smoke Drew Estates too often. Funnily enough, both non-Cubans I've reviewed now have been Drew Estates. Some people on Instagram have been DMing us about tools and stuff, so I just thought I'd say it quickly. I use this cutter. I have other tools, but these are the ones I mainly use. This is the cigar XO. It uses a spring, so it doesn't matter how you press, both will shut equally, which is actually really great because it makes it really easy to cut. It has like a sort of a spring tool, so you can cut really easily. Alright, there we go. And it's really sharp. I've had this for a few years. It's really expensive, but when I went for tools, I wanted to go for quality and have something that I could invest in and use for many years, and this cigar XO has been perfect for that. It's actually a really cool format too. I mean, it looks kind of unique, so that's another plus, I guess. And then for a lighter, I have this Prometheus Retro. Prometheus is obviously a great cigar accessory brand. Another pretty pricey tool, but it's a jet lighter and it's so thin, as you can see. And it just works perfectly without flaw all the time. So, and I've had this for like 3-4 years or something. So it's just, yeah, great quality tools, will last you a long time instead of buying worse stuff, and then you can just focus on your cigars and not have to worry about tools. So that's sort of my philosophy with that. Talking about the cigar though, this is a huge Toro. It's like a 54 ring gauge, which is, as you guys probably know, bigger than what I usually smoke, as I generally smoke a little more Cuban than non-Cuban. And it's like a 6-inch, so it's a pretty big cigar. Cigar Aficionado actually recently published that Toros have become, instead of Robustos or passing Robustos, the most sold cigar size in the US. So that's pretty significant, I guess. And this is a very good indication of the type of cigar that's popular, especially in America nowadays. Dark, very full-bodied is what I think, and a big cigar. So with me I have a little coffee. I don't think it should impart too much flavor, as Maduro cigars usually do have coffee notes already. This is the second Willie Herrera cigar, so if you know anything about Drew Estate, they've had a lot of really influential blenders in their brand, like Steve Saka before. And nowadays their guy is Willie Herrera. I've smoked Herrera Esteli before, which is a completely different kind of Habano cigar. This is another one of his. I haven't tried this before. I really like his sort of band design stuff, not that that matters, but Norteño actually means northerner in Spanish, which is pretty fitting being Swedish. This is a good cigar. Now, as usual, that mixes perfectly, by the way. Alright, more smoke coming through now. As usual, I don't read too much about the cigar before. I actually don't know what body this is supposed to be or anything, because I like to give completely organic reviews and not be... Because I do notice that if I read, or yeah, if you do read about flavor notes and stuff, you sort of start searching for those in flavor notes you've read, rather than exploring what you're tasting yourself. Perfect draw for me. It's more towards the Cuban side of the draw, a little tighter. Wow, that's really tangy. A nice tangy earth so far. Really good. Sort of like a caramelly tang as well. And wow, the coffee goes along like heaven. on these first few puffs at least. If you're wondering why I'm lighting so much, I just want to make sure that I get a very even light. That's almost equally important, I've found, as the roll itself. If you light awfully and the wrapper doesn't get lit all around, you're just not going to have a good burn. So lots of smoke. Classic Drew Estate. I'm going to smoke a little more and get back to you in a bit when I've tasted a little more of the cigar. Alright, so 15 minutes in and decently into the first third. You can just see how it's pouring off smoke. Standard Drew Estate. This is, first of all, burning really slowly and burning really well. It was a little bit wonky in the first few puffs, but then it just corrected itself. So I just read up on the cigar a little bit more. They actually call this a Robusto Grande. So this is, they don't call it a Toro. I don't know why. I guess it's 140 millimeters long, so I guess it's like not really long enough, just long enough to be a Toro. But it's 54 ring gauge, as I said before. So that's, if you want to look the cigar up, that's exactly the name of it. I also looked up the tobaccos used in this because I was interested to know what this wrapper was. So the fillers are Jalapa and Esteli Nicaraguan. So they're those, especially Esteli, those are like characteristically earthy flavors. So that's probably where I'm getting a lot of the earth from. But it's this tangy earth. It's this tangy, sweet style earth that I really enjoy. I'm actually really enjoying this. And the wrapper is actually a San Andres wrapper. So that's a Mexican San Andres wrapper. It's really the only cigar tobacco that Mexico produces. And that's interesting because I haven't smoked too many of them. I've smoked a few. And I feel like it's a very versatile wrapper because in the cigars that I've smoked, some have been flavorless, some have been very spicy, and this is not spicy at all. This just has this tangy sweetness that I'm really enjoying. And it's funny because I actually read an article recently on Cigar Aficionado called Black Gold about just the San Andres black tobacco that they use. And it just talks about how the Turrent family that make Te Amo and some other cigars, but they mainly get their profits from selling this tobacco to other manufacturers such as Drew Estate. So that's pretty interesting. You can go check that article out. It's a really good read if you're interested in this tobacco. And the binder is Honduran, which might be adding some to the sweetness maybe. Right now it's not that full. I would say it's medium, almost to the lighter side of medium really. Or maybe it's just because the finish isn't too long. Once again, a godly pairing with the coffee. Sometimes you get Maduro cigars that don't pair as well with coffee as you would think. This pairs perfectly. But as I said, pretty medium, there's not a long finish. And but the flavor that comes, it's very nice and strong. And as I said, like a really tangy earth with some sweetness. And on the retrohale, a little bit of citrus, it's showing itself. So it's actually very, very complex. I've talked before about how I'm not a huge Maduro smoker, but this one is kind of blowing me away. I'm going to be honest. This is. I mean, the burn is perfect, which is what Cigar Aficionado talked about, how the San Andres wrapper really burns well. But that's besides the point. The flavor is just really complex. I didn't expect it to be. I thought it would be a more bog standard, your average Maduro, but it is not. It's not spicy. It's not that full, and that citrusy sweetness and tangy earth is just complexity that I haven't really tasted before. So really, really good so far. I'm going to get to the third now, and I'll meet you guys back when I do get there. Alright, so nearing the halfway mark here. Yeah, I thought I was just going to have like a calm little afternoon with a coffee and standard Maduro that I didn't have to think about too much, but this is surprising me a lot. That really has to be said. It's so complex. It's like weirdly complex. It's still right around that medium body. It's not very full, which I wasn't expecting. The retrohale has lost that citrusy touch, and it's just mostly peppery now, so not retrohaling too much at the moment. It's nothing much more than just tobacco and a little bit of white pepper. The burn, as you can see, is holding up perfectly. The ash is holding on like a champ. It's doing very well. A little crooked, but you know. But mainly, that earth has stepped down for sure. That sweetness has gone a little bit richer in depth and a little darker. And for a while, just to note, there was this distinct, had to think about it for a long time, but it was a distinct note of coconut, which I've never had in a cigar before. It took me a while, but then when I got it, it was like, oh my god, that's it. And it was a sweetness of coconut, which combined to taste like a chocolate and coconut candy bar. I don't know if this is just a European thing, but there's this thing called Bounty. It's like a chocolate bar, which is chocolate and coconut. That's exactly what it was like. It's sort of past now, but I think that it's worth pointing out that that was there, and that was really unique. Yeah, not too much on the red trail still. Maybe a little bit of wood, but very slight. And in general, it's very floral. I'm about 45 minutes in, or like 40 minutes in, and I'm like not even at the halfway mark. So I think this might be like almost like close to 2-hour smoke, or at least past an hour and a half. So yeah, it's a big, big cigar that's burning slowly, but it's extremely enjoyable so far. This is like one of those where if it didn't taste like a lot, it would be just not tough, but not too great to sit here for like an hour and 45 minutes and puff away at something. But it's very complex, so I'll keep going until the end, and then I'll get back to you for the final thoughts. But yeah, it's kind of blowing me away so far. All right, so coming up towards the end here, about an hour and 20 minutes in. Construction, nothing to complain about. Literally perfect performance. It's been burning brilliantly. So much smoke, dense, really, really good. This last third, it stepped up. So I think the first 2/3 were really medium, knocking on the door towards medium full, and this last third is definitely medium full. So it's not a very full-bodied cigar. The appearance might fool you a little bit. It's right there in medium to medium full, which I really like. I don't like a too powerful Maduro, especially this early in the day, maybe after a big dinner. So this last third has become a lot more traditionally Maduro, a lot more earth. It's come back. It disappeared a little bit in the second third, and a lot more coffee, a lot more than the cigar before, but just a tiny bit of coffee in this third. A little more chocolatey, and a little nutty as well. This last third has been, although very, very good, and I welcome the complexity. I prefer the first two. The first third especially was fantastic. So reading about this cigar a little more, I just found out that this exact Vitola actually came 7th in 2016 on Cigar Aficionado's Cigar of the Year. So that's a really high appraisal. I think it got a 94 rating. I might have forgotten, but I think it was 94, and I can definitely understand that. I mean, this is a change of pace from most Maduros that I've smoked, and it's very complex, and I didn't expect that, because I've found, especially Maduro cigars, they tend to be nice, and they can be really, really great, but not have that great amount of complexity. And I have to say, I think this has jumped up to probably my favorite Maduro I've ever smoked. I had the Liga Privada number 9 earlier this year, and that cigar was not comparable, honestly. I mean, it was nice, but that one was more monotonous. I have to also say that it's taken a long time to smoke, as I said, 1 hour and 20 minutes. This isn't my preferred Vitola in terms of size. I mean, it's a little thicker, as I said, and this is, I prefer a little over an hour maybe. This is probably going to be in like an hour and 40 minutes as I expected. But then again, I'm not sure if another Vitola size would have presented the flavors as nicely as this has. I think adding more filler adds a lot more earth and maybe some more complexity from those Nicaraguan tobaccos. I saw that they have a Lonsdale as well, which is usually my favorite Vitola, but that might not actually perform as well. So I'm very glad I tried this. This is definitely, again, a change of pace for me personally as a smoker. So giving a score here, yeah, I think I'd place this as a solid 90, 91, I'd say. I was thinking of going 92, but just personally to my flavor profile, this isn't a 92. If you love Maduros, this might be incredible for you, honestly. So I'd put this as a 91, a solid 91. That's a great score. And as I said, I'm not a regular Maduro smoker, so this is a 91. Like that means I'd gladly smoke more of these, which for most Maduros, I feel like I'll have them and then like I'd probably move on to another cigar, but it was a great one-time experience. Pairing this with a coffee was brilliant. I'm not sure what else. I mean, I could see like a porter beer pair really well with these darker notes and sort of contrast it, because this doesn't have too much of that coffee, and that's I think why the coffee mixed so well, because a cigar that's already very coffee heavy, the coffee you drink sort of gets drowned out a little. This actually contrasted it, to my surprise, so that was really great. So yeah, try this cigar out if you like Maduros. Definitely try this cigar out. They're not even that expensive really, so for the price this is a fantastic purchase. Not as full-bodied as I thought, and not as spicy as I thought it would be, which for me are two big pluses. So yeah, capping off the summer with this big cigar, fantastic choice for me. I'm very glad I did. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you continue to watch our videos, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.
You do the smoke, old stogies I have found, short but not too big around. I'm a man